Hey, you wanted to... It's really late. I was training. You want me to read to you? Why? Why would you want that? You can't sleep? Dude, it's like... What time is it? I don't... It's only like 9:30. But like, why are you trying to sleep now? It's 9:30. You back ago. Anyway, what book do you want me to read? Oh. School for Good and Evil? The Last Ever After? Really? It's the last of the fucking series, love. Fine. It's fine, I guess. Have you started this book yet? No. Okay. 1. The Master and the Queen. It is natural to doubt your true love when you do not know if he is young or old. He certainly looks young, Sophie thought, peering at the lean, shirtless boy as he gazed out of the tower window. Bath bathed in faded sunlight. Sophie studied his hairless white skin and snug black breeches, his thick spiked hair and the color of snow, his tight vined arms, and he glanced at his glacier blue eyes. He didn't look a day more than 16, and yet somewhere within the beautiful stranger was a soul older than 16, much older than 16. For the last 3 weeks, then, Sophie had refused his ring. How could she bond herself to a boy with a schoolmaster inside of him? And yet, the more Sophie looked at him, the more she couldn't see the schoolmaster. All Sophie could see was the fresh, ethereal? Is that how you say it? I don't know, I can't read. Well, I can read, obviously. But, like, I can't read that well. I read in my head. Don't judge me. All Sophie could see was a fresh, ethereal young youth asking for her hand, with sharp cheekbones and full lips, more handsome than a prince, more powerful than... What was I? More powerful than the prince, and unlike Prince You-Know-Who, this boy was hers. Who's Prince You-Know-Who? Don't know? Okay. Sophie reddened, remembering she was all alone in this world. Oh, she's fucking depressed. Same, bestie. Don't worry about it. Sorry. No one had abandoned her. All alone in this world. Everyone else had abandoned her. Every desperate effort to be good had been punished with betrayal. She had no family, no friends, no future. And now this ravishing young boy in front of her was her last hope for love. Panic burned through her muscles and dried her throat. There was no choice anymore. Sophie swallowed and slowly stepped towards him. Look at him. He's no older than you, she soothed herself. The boy of your dreams. She reached shaking fingers for his bare shoulder until she suddenly froze in her tracks. She was only... Huh? Fingers for his bare shoulders. It was only magic that had brought this boy to life, she thought, pulling her hand back into her sleeve. But how long does this magic last? You're asking yourself the wrong question, came the smooth voice. Magic thinks nothing of time. Sophie lifted her eyes. Boys didn't look at her. His focus on a swallow sun, barely a force through the morning fog. Since when you since when can you hear my thoughts? Sophie said, unnerved. I don't think to hear I don't need to hear thoughts to know what reader's mind thinks. He replied. What a reader's mind thinks, he replied. Sophie took a place beside him in her black cloak, feeling the chill of his marble-coloured skin. She thought of Tedros. She thought of Tedros' skin, always sweaty and tan, with the warmth of a bear's. A hot flash bolted through her body and rage or regret or something in between. She forced herself closer to the boy, her arm brushing up his pale chest. She still didn't look at her. He still didn't look at her. What is it? Sophie asked. The sun, he said, watching it flicker through the mist. Every day it rises, whether weaker than the one before. If only you had power to make the sun shine too, Sophie murmured. Every day could be a tea party. Why would you want every day to be a tea party? Sounds like out of hell. Anyway. The boy shot her a sour glare. Sophie stiffened, remembered that unlike her once good best friend, her new suitor was neither good nor friendly. She quickly looked back out of the window and shivering in a nice breeze. Oh, for heaven's sake, sun weaken in the winter. Don't need a sorcerer to know that. Perhaps it takes a reader to explain this too, he replied, sweeping to the white stone at the table in the corner, where a long knife, sharp pen, shaped like a knitting needle, hovered over an open storybook. Sophie turned to the book, glimpsing at the glimpsing the color of the last page. Her painted self kissing the schoolmaster back to youth as her best friend vanished home with a prince. Well, that's the end of that chapter. You want another one? I'll check how long the next chapter is, but I mean, nah, this chapter's way too fucking long, mate. I'm sorry. You're tired anyway? I mean, honestly, this girl just sounds like an absolute prick. Yeah. Sounds like Bakugo, actually. I don't know why. Alright, leave me alone. It's like Bakugo. It's mean. So she. I don't know. Yeah, I guess. Anyway, why are you going to bed so late? Or early, even? Yeah, why are you going to bed so early? You just want to? Alright, I mean, that's fine. It is still only 9:45. Yeah. Okay, fine. A little bit more of the next chapter. But as soon as you're asleep, I'm stopping. I'm not continuing after you fall asleep. 3 weeks since the historians wrote to our never after, said the boy. Within days it should have begun a new story with love on evil's side now. Love that will destroy God one fairy tale at a time. Love that turns the pen into evil weapons instead of its curse. His eyes narrowed to slits. Instead, it reopens the book it just closed and stays there, hanging over the end, like a play whose curtains won't shut. Sophie couldn't look away from Agatha and Tedros on this page, embracing lovingly. As they disappeared, Sophie's gut twisted, her face searing hot. Here, she croaked, slamming the cover down on them, and shoving the cherry red storybook next to her, next to the Frog Prince, Cinderella, Rapunzel, and the rest of the Storion's finished tales. Her heartbeat claimed curtain shut. Instead, the book Instead, the book re- reconheated. I don't know. What was I? Reconheated off the shelf and smashed into her face. Oh, sorry. Knocking her against the wall before she flew onto the stone table, swinging open in the last page once more. The story glimpsed defiantly above it. This is no accident, spoke the boy, stalking towards Sophie as she rubbed her stinging cheek. The historian keeps our world alive by writing new stories at the moment. It has no intention of moving from your story, and as long as the pen does not move on its new story, the sun dies day by day until the woods go dark and it's the end of us all. Still not asleep? God. What is it? Am I speaking too loud? No? Okay. Tell me if I am. You're just not tired. You are? Then why aren't you asleep? I can go to sleep like that if I'm tired. Especially if I'm tired. I just fall asleep. Sorry. I'm getting distracted. I know. I'm sorry. Where was I? Sophie looked up at him, silhouetted by the weak light. But what is it waiting for? He leaned in and touched her neck. His fingers frigid on her peach cream skin. Sophie recoiled, jamming into the bookshelf. The boy smiled and drew closer, blocking out the sun. I'm afraid it has doubts whether I'm your true love, he cooned. I said she's an asshole. I think he's the asshole, honestly. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll just read. I'm sorry. The boy smiled and drew closer, blocking out the sun. I'm afraid it had doubts whether I'm true love, he crooned. It had doubts whether you committed to evil. It has doubts whether your friend and her prince should be gone forever. Sophie slowly gazed up at the black shadow. It, meaning you, she said, the schoolmaster, holding out his hand. Sophie looked down to see the ring of gold in his cold young palm, and her terrified face in its reflection. 3 weeks before, Sophie had kissed the schoolmaster into a boy and banished her beast-friendly home. For a moment she'd felt the relief of victory, and Agatha silently disappeared with Tetros. Her best friend may have chosen a prince over her, but there was no such thing as a prince in Gavladon. I don't like it when authors make up words. I don't care. It doesn't make sense. Gavaldon. Agatha would die an ordinary girl with an ordinary boy, while she basked in ever after, far, far away, wrapped in the arms of her true love, soaring towards her silver his silver tower in the sky, Sophie waited to feel happy. Waited to feel happy, yeah. She'd won her fairy tale, and winning was supposed to mean happiness. As they landed in his murky stone chamber, Sophie started to shake. Agatha was gone, her best friend, her soulmate, and with her she'd taken a boy who Sophie had grown close to in many forms. When she was a girl, when she was a boy, when she's trans? No, I don't get it. Anyway, when she was a boy, she had when he was her true love, when he was just her friend. Agatha had won Tedros, the only boy Sophie ever truly knew. Tedros had won Agatha, the one person Sophie had thought she'd live without. And Sophie had won a beautiful boy of whom she knew nothing except the dark depths of his evil. As the schoolmaster moved towards her, young as a prince with a cocky smile, Sophie knew she'd made a mistake. Only it'd been too late to turn back. Through the window, Sophie glimpsed Agatha vanishing, embers to the castle rotting, vulturous black boys and girls smashing into vicious war. Teachers furring spells at students at each other. Oh, okay. I did say I wouldn't. I did say I wouldn't keep going when they fell asleep. Suppose that's me done. I'll let you sleep, I guess. Night.